Paris Jackson just sat down on Jack Osbourne's Trying Not to Die podcast and said something that stopped the internet. She said, "What happens when I drink is my moral compass goes right out the window, and I become a very vindictive person." She said she was raised to be kind. She said her father taught her to treat people with respect. But when substances entered her life, that version of herself disappeared.
The behavior is really ugly.
Yeah.
It's really ugly behavior in a moral way, because I was raised to be kind.
Yeah.
And not nice. I could give a shit about being nice, but being kind and like looking people in the eye and like asking the waiter their name so you can write it down on the receipt later, and just little things of just like, how do you treat people?
Sure.
And I went through years and years and years of self-hatred. Like, oh, I may be like a liar, a cheater, a piece of shit, a thief, whatever, but like I do have a good moral compass. Like I was raised right in that way.
And what replaced it was someone she described as a liar, a cheater, and a thief. She called her own behavior during those years really ugly. And the honesty of it, coming from a woman who is currently at war with her father's estate while his biopic makes hundreds of millions, hit people in a way nobody expected. Paris has been sober for 6 years. She first entered treatment at 17 years old. She went through multiple treatment programs before things finally clicked. She has publicly shared that she struggled with alcohol, heroin, and other substances, and that the damage went beyond emotional. In a TikTok video earlier this year, she showed the physical mark that heavy use left behind, a perforated septum that now whistles when she breathes. She looked into the camera and said, "That is from what you think it's from. Don't do substances, kids." She then got serious and said they ruined my life. She's refused surgery to repair it because the recovery would require medication she doesn't want to take while maintaining her sobriety. On the podcast with Osbourne, she went deeper than she ever has before. She talked about years of self-hatred. She said that even when she knew who she was supposed to be, the kind person her father raised, she couldn't access that version of herself while using. She described recognizing the same patterns in other people struggling with the same thing. The constant reaching, the clinging.
When I was younger, I struggled with self-harm for a really long time, like before I ever had my first drink or drug. And I had weird relationships with overeating and food as a young kid. And just there was this overall reachy, graspy energy that I only ever really see in other addicts. It's just this graspiness and reaching for something outside of yourself that I've always had that.
Yeah.
I've always had that with people too. Like
The desperate search for something to fill a gap that substances only made wider. In January 2026, Paris marked 6 years clean. She posted on Instagram, "I'm an alcoholic and a heroin addict. Today marks 6 years clean and sober from all substances. To say that I'm thankful would be a poor euphemism. Gratitude hardly scratches the surface." In October 2025, she was honored with the Shining Star Award at the 35th Annual Friendly House Awards Luncheon in Los Angeles, an organization that helps women recover from trauma and dependency. She's also been diagnosed with complex PTSD and treatment-resistant depression, conditions she continues to manage alongside her sobriety. This is a 28-year-old woman who lost her father at 11, who grew up in the most public family on earth, who tried to end her own pain as a teenager, who went through treatment multiple times before finding her way out, and who is now sitting on a podcast, calm, honest, and 6 years clean, telling the world exactly what those years cost her. Not for sympathy, not for headlines, but because someone listening might need to hear it. Subscribe, because Paris Jackson's story isn't over.